Hi bells, hope you are thriving. Welcome back to my channel. On today's episode, I'm just going to be showing you my method of pan frying chicken breast. Okay, the first thing you want to do is put your chicken breast in a clean film nylon. Any nylon, good nylon, clean nylon you have in the house will serve. Once you do that, you make sure you wrap the chicken around it and you begin to pound your chicken. You guys, this is a very important step as it makes sure that the chicken cooks all the way through and it makes it very moist and soft in the end. So please do not skip this process. I usually have a kitchen hammer, but on this day I couldn't find it, so I just made use of my omorogun, like what do you call it now, the thing you use to turn stuff in the kitchen. No, I know it has a morogo. Okay, what you use to turn eba, any wooden spoon will serve. Just make sure you heat it evenly and make sure you get every side possible. The only thing I know I made a mistake with was that this chicken breast actually had bone, and I wasn't careful enough to check the packaging to make sure it was boneless. But any which way, it still worked. So you can see me pounding the chicken. Like, you guys, you need to pound this chicken all directions. Make sure you repeat the same process on the other side. Like I said earlier, I forgot to buy the boneless one and I picked the ones with bone, so I had to hit it extra hard on the side that has the bone just to break down the bone and so that it cooks evenly all through. Once I was done with that, I decided to check, press it with my fingers to make sure it was even. Once I confirmed that, I got into my seasoning. In this bowl I have like my special seasoning mix. Don't worry guys, I'll show you guys the mix I used. Some soya spice, some thyme, some bouillon cubes. I'm going to show you guys that eventually. So be generous with this. Make sure you spread it around the chicken. I eventually had to make some holes just to make sure the seasoning got in, but remember to always taste for salt before you put salt, guys. I did not put salt in this seasoning mix because by the time I tasted it, it was good enough for me, so I did not put salt. So I went around generously spreading this seasoning cube round. You can see here I used the knife to just poke around to make sure that the seasoning goes right in, okay, just to make a few holes. And eventually I went back into my seasoning. I repeated the same process on the other side as well. You can do this with your hands, but on this particular day I wasn't really in the mood to use my hands, so I have a kitchen brush that I use to season. You can see me also poking the other side of it, just to repeat the same process, making sure the seasoning goes right in. After poking, I continued seasoning. So I made sure I spread the seasoning evenly around. It might look like this seasoning is a lot, but I already measured the seasoning that was going to go on this chicken breast, so I had to make sure it went all around. You can even see me touching the sides. You want to make sure that your chicken is evenly seasoned so that any bite you take would be perfectly seasoned. Once I was done seasoning, I had to set it aside for about 20 minutes for it to marinate properly in the seasoning. Okay, so while my chicken is marinating, I'll just show you the spices I used in seasoning the chicken breast. I used some black pepper. You can also use some white pepper, but I ran out on this particular day. Also, I used some turmeric instead of curry because I didn't have some curry for some reason, and actually turmeric is healthier in my opinion. I also went in with some barbecue spice just to give it a hint of barbecue flavor. Used some poultry seasoning as well. All of this I use in minimal proportions just to make sure it's not over seasoned. Soya spice as well, because obviously it will give it a kick as well. I also went in with some thyme leaves, and that's about it, guys. Okay, I remember I used a few drops of oil as well just to make sure it mixes properly. I put in some onion with a few drops of oil and left it to pan fry for about 3 minutes. Once it was frying for 3 minutes, I put in the chicken. You can hear that sear. It has to have that sear. That will make sure the skin of the chicken is very crisp. You have to leave it on the pan. Don't touch it for about 4 to 5 minutes, depending on how well done you like your chicken to be. You want to leave that chicken there, don't touch it. The only thing I did from time to time was just shake it from side to side to make sure the oil was reaching every side and it wasn't burning. And I made sure I moved the onions close to the chicken so that the flavors from the onion would infuse with the chicken. So eventually I left it for about 5 to 6 minutes just because I like my chicken well done. That's just my personal preference. But 4 minutes will do a good job. And I made a mistake of pressing the chicken, and I did that several times in this video. You do not want to do that. If you noticed, while I was pressing, I was losing some juice from the chicken because I just wanted it to be well done, and I felt it wasn't fat enough. That was my mistake. I should have just been patient enough to let it cook down on its own. So once you're doing yours, you do not want to press the chicken down, okay, because you will lose some juice from the chicken. So I just flipped it on the other side and left it. You can see the crust on this side already. It is well done. Has a golden brown crust. That's when you know that side is ready, and you repeat the same process on the other side. So by this time, both sides were done. As a Nigerian girl that I am, I just had to turn it over on the edge or the corners of the chicken just to make sure it was properly cooked as well. That's just me, don't mind me. It was done, but I was just scared that it wasn't done enough, so I just put it for like a minute on both sides, and that was it. So there you have it, your golden brown chicken. Super delicious, super yummy, and super moist. Very yummy. Please try this recipe and tell me what you think, okay? Just look at that chicken, you guys. Doesn't it look so yummy? And I made sure I didn't use so much oil. I only used just enough oil, a few teaspoons of oil. I think about 2 teaspoons or 3 teaspoons of oil, thereabouts, depending on how much oil you like. But for me, I didn't want it to be too much. Just look at how yummy this chicken looks. So you can see me trying to slice into my chicken. Like I said, because it has bone, I couldn't do like a proper slice. It couldn't slice all through. But you guys, this chicken was so yummy. I can't even begin to quantify. And that crust on top, that's like the best part. It's quite crispy, you know, the seasoning, everything was just perfect. It was so yummy, guys. You guys should please try this recipe, and remember what I said, do not press on your chicken. You can also decide to cover the chicken with a lid, cover the pot rather with a lid if you want it to be more moist. But for me, since I wanted to show you guys, I decided not to cover the lid. You see how the thing is just coming off. You guys, super yummy. Come and eat. So yummy. nails. Finally done. I just decided to pair it with noodles. That's what I feel like having today. It's about almost 3 p.m, so I decided to have my first meal of the day. You guys, I already stole one part of this chicken. I don't know if you can see that, but I already stole the tail portion. This recipe is so delicious and very easy to make. The only mistake I made was I didn't buy boneless breast chicken. I didn't realize that there's a bit of bone in this, so I had to cook it a little bit more. But next time I'll be more careful and I'll get boneless chicken. But it doesn't matter, it's just that with the bone it makes it a little harder not harder, it takes a little longer to cook. So let's just do like a taste test for the camera. Come and eat though. You know, I did not call you. Come and eat. I mean, you guys, it's juicy, delicious. Just try this recipe and let me know. It's really delicious. It's not dry. You know how chicken breast can actually get dry sometimes, but with this method I've taught you, the chicken breast would never ever get dry. It's super yummy, super moist. I'm just having with noodles. This is the style of the dish. This is just ignore this part, but this is the style of the dish. But the good part about the noodles is that I actually use the same saucepan to make the noodles, so the broth and juice and everything from the flavors from the chicken and onion is actually in this noodles. So this is actually very yummy as well. Just try this recipe and tell me what you think, you guys. Can you see that? Just try it and get back to me, okay? So that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Please make sure you like, subscribe, and leave a comment. And please let me know if you tried this recipe and how it turned out, okay? I'll see you in my next one. Bye.